Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Pie in the What. We're going to talk a little bit about hashtags. Elon's been in the media. X, formerly Twitter, has completely removed them from just the ads. They're still in the organic. So they're not totally dead. They're still relevant. They're still important. So don't get it twisted. Just remove them from the ads just to really help give clarity to the advertisers.
It's kind of a big change, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Hashtags really were the cornerstone of discovery back in the day when social media came along. You know, I mean, that's how people found content and brands and, target specific stuff.
it was huge. It was huge. Love your brand. I've been using that hashtag for the last freaking decade. Um, but you know, if your ad, aesthetically, if it doesn't work with the hashtag, then it's not that strong anyway, right? So, but still, I mean, they're still relevant. Still use them for searches, organics, to help follow individuals, to help find information. They're still relevant, but they are declining. The importance of them are.
Bingo. I think a good way to put it is that hashtags aren't dead. It's their importance really that has changed. Their importance is what's shifted, because in the past they were the primary way to increase visibility on all these social media platforms. And so like with the algorithm shift, because we know that social media is really driven by the algorithm, how that changes on a daily basis. But all those social platforms now, they're really moving towards content relevance and like engagement over those keyword based discoveries, through the hashtag or the ways that we used to go in the search and type in a hashtag. And so now those social algorithms are really prioritizing different kinds of engagement metrics, such as the likes, the shares, the comments, as opposed to just using those hashtags alone.
Bro, Elon said he referred to them as an aesthetic nightmare. I said, dang, that's harsh.
No
Now,
holes barred.
yeah, leave it up to Elon to shake things up, right? That's one of Jay Hill's favorite people. He's always shaking stuff up.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I do not endorse that message. When we go into the hashtags, Jason, it's like this shows there's really a major shift in the advertising strategy now. Over the past few years, I mean, with performance marketing, all these metrics, we're running paid ads and everything from the social approach. I mean, brands today, they really just have to rely less on the hashtags now. There was that time where I think you could put like a maximum of 30 hashtags in your post, and based on what hashtags are there, would determine the reach that you go to people that are looking for you. But now you have to put more importance really on your creative with the ad, and having a really compelling creative, with your audience being super targeted. It can no longer be just this broad target, that you're going after with your ads, and really focus on the ad copy. And so those three elements there, from your creative to the audience to the ad copy, are going to help your ads way more than the hashtags now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, especially for influencers and brands, they always use hashtags for ad disclosure purposes, right? Just be on the lookout for the FTC. You got to utilize different tools and ways to deliver that disclosure, right? In X and for advertorial purposes. And I'm sure others will follow. So that's the only thing just to be on the lookout for as far as compliance. But hey, they're good. Like just don't kill them, right? You used to see people drop like 30 or 40 in a post. Now you've got to be pretty sparingly, right? Using those pretty sparingly, as far as, just a handful. And then I would recommend just removing them completely from your advertising campaigns, right? On X, you can't, but even on other platforms, I would follow suit, right? Because they're probably coming right down the pipeline.
I think a lot of people have experienced hashtag fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, people are just overusing them in the past, and maybe that's why these social platforms are changing things up, because it has been such an overuse of it. But there's also, I think like an evolving strategy for 2025 and hashtags is more of the branded hashtags, because there's one thing, like if you have a message for your brand, you got to make sure it's very clear. It's a clear message. You can't use that insider language that only you know about. If somebody finds your website and there's insider language, it's not going to make sense to them. But the hashtags on the other end of that spectrum is that these branded hashtags are going to be more effective. And so you're putting the hashtags that may be specific to that brand, as opposed to, like, if we were in the parenting space, a hashtag parenting, which is going to have 100 million, posts about that, versus something that's more niched and targeted and tailored directly to that organization.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, death of the hashtags. Not quite yet. Just be very careful and strategic when you're using them.
Yeah.
Anything else? I don't know. This is
I think I was going to say, I think
hashtag pie in the what?
Jason's a little distracted. I'm going to give you 3 takeaways. All right. So if you've watched this far, if you've hung out with us this far with the hashtags,
if you made it this far,
what are y'all talking about with hashtags?
Yeah, they're like, what? Pie in the what?
Experiment with different content types. Okay. That's number 1.
Content types. Content types.
Experiment with different content types. And what I mean by that is your ads, like, visually make them good. If we go on social media and we're scrolling, it's got to be something that jumps out. It's not about that hashtag, because you're not even going to see it, but it's about what in that creative copy, the image, the graphic, the video, the call to action is really going to jump out. So that's number 1. And so focus on those different types. Number 2, focus on the engagement. And so increase your interactions with all of your followers through, like, comments. Typically we just post something, but we never go into other people's comments. And you can start a conversation in the comments. LinkedIn, the pros on LinkedIn are really doing this well. They go comment inside of a post, and then you have these micro comments, micro conversations inside of that post. And so it's not about the post that you push out there, it's about the engagement inside there. Then number 3 is just update your hashtag strategy holistically. And so don't work on those trending hashtags that we've done in the past. Use those branded ones, or really micro targeting that have, relevant topics or discussions, things that are going on today, social events that are happening, things globally, things in the country. Those are where you can do the hashtags, because that's going to be relevant for this information today. Those 3 takeaways, Jason. Anything to add?
Those were solid takeaways, Jay Hill.
That's it.
That's a wrap. Well, thank you for joining us today on this episode of Pie in the What. And we look forward to seeing you again.
Peace.
Thanks for listening and joining us on the Love Your Brand podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode, and remember, share the love.